Hi there, hope you're all doing well. To finish off the year, I wanted to do something a little bit different. This is the Jolly Dwarf Santa by Wargames Foundry. He was primed in black and I get started on the red coat with burnt red covering the entire thing. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below. You can also join Discord where you can share anything you have been working on. Next up, I'm going to be adding some depth to the red with dark tone wash over everything. To start working my way up back to that bright red like it should be, I grabbed burnt red again and just went over the coat, leaving that darker tone in just the recessed parts. I then used flat red to add the first highlight to the coat. This is for all those raised areas and some of the flat areas as well. Finishing off the red, all the very tips and edges get a highlight of vermilion. Moving on from the red, I get started on the cloak with angel green as the first layer. Being a Christmas character, you can't really not have red and green as the main colours. Highlighting up the green, I grabbed intermediate green, which is pretty much covering the entire thing, just leaving sort of angel green in those shadowy parts. keeping the mini simple, I used werewolf fur for both the handle of the belt and the sack he is dragging. The belt and the shoes are done with black to give them that contrast against that bright red. Now to add some of the wood grain to the bell using Monster Brown. Next up is the sack, and that gets a highlight of leather brown. You can use Monster Brown as well on this instead if you want to keep it simple. With the black now dry, I use dark sea green to give the belt an edge highlight. I also use this to base coat all the parts that are going to be white, as white over black is never going to turn out well. The only metallics are of course going to be done with greedy gold, as this is the brightest gold I have. For his skin, I used elf skin tone. I don't plan on highlighting this up, so a brighter tone just felt like the right option to start with. Moving on to his beard and hair, I used Vallejo's Ivory. This is a slight off-white that seems to cover relatively well without going too chalky. I chose to leave the parts that didn't quite get full opacity in some areas, as it just works for the depth of the hair. While waiting for the ivory to dry, I washed the cloak with green tone. Next up, I used Reaper Master Series white primer to do the fur around his hat. I didn't want to do this part ivories, I wanted a slight shift in the tone to separate them. Shift in tone didn't really work, but the idea was still there. add in the depth to the skin and the leather parts, I gave them a once over with flesh wash. I wanted more depth in the white, so I heavily watered down some dark tone and gave it a quick wash over it all. And that will be it for the Jolly Dwarf Santa, a little something chilled to finish the year off. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below. You can also join Discord using the link in the description, where you can share anything you have been hobbying on. As always, there will be photos of this mini on my Instagram and Ko-fi pages. Speaking of Ko-fi, if you want to support the channel more than you already do, on my Ko-fi page you can drop a one-off tip towards helping getting better equipment. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I hope you all have a very happy holiday, and as always, be kind to each other.